Hey everybody, I'm live. It is 9:08 in Pacific Standard Time in Oakland, and I know all of
Hey
you
everybody, I'm
earlier
live. It is 9:08.
the speech that President Trump gave, and some of you have asked me for my opinion, both close and far away. So as I start this, I'm going to post this video of what my friend Van Jones said, in part because the last time Van was on CNN, he and I had an argument because he didn't like that I said that I felt his opinion was influenced by the fact that he got 100 million from Jeff Bezos. And so I apologized because, I didn't mean to impugn upon his sincerity. That wasn't my intent at all. Now, Van here, as I add this to the scene, was just on, and this is what he said on CNN. This is what he said. This is Van Jones right here. And so he should talk. He's not talking because I didn't properly set it, supposedly. But that thing should play. It's a file. And let's see here. There's the photograph part of it. So I'm going to have to pop out the actual file because it's not playing. And there is the file. And let's start it here. And properly grab the file since the system didn't do that. Let's share screen, and there it is. All right, so we'll share it that way. It should pop up there for us, and there it is. And we'll have at it. Here's Van Jones.
I think this could be a great speech for Democrats. I am hoping that he will go out and say if the economy is A++++, we'll use that in the midterms. I hope he blows off all the concerns about people's health care costs going through the roof. And I hope he says affordability is a hoax. This could be the greatest speech for Democrats to win the midterms ever if he does any of those things.
You tell him, Van.
Well, they need something because you got an 18% approval rating right now. So whatever you can get, I would advise you to try to get it. Listen, I've spent most of the day at the White House today. I don't know how much ground he's going to break on policy, and I'll do what you should never do, which is to say, here's what Trump's going to say. You don't really know, but I think he's going to draw a bright line. And the line is, here's what we had to do and why we had to do it, because of the mess that we inherited. And I think laying out the contours of the debate for an election year, only he can do it for the Republican Party. So it's, here's what we inherited, here's what we did, here's why it's going to work. Maybe a little new ground. Also, I don't believe we're going to war in Venezuela tonight. I think this is going to be focused on what's going on at home and why he believes his policy prescriptions are better than what the Democrats left him.
Well, and it's funny. It's funny to hear what Chris and I were talking about, what we've been hearing at the White House, because that was something that we were both getting text about today, which was how much of this is going to focus on foreign policy and on Venezuela specifically. Because there was just another boat strike shortly before we came on the air tonight. There have been real questions about what the ultimate policy is in Venezuela and with Maduro. But this is a criticism that the president has faced from some of his advisors on focusing on that. We'll see what the president says.
Okay, so folks, I have news for you, and I have news for you, Van. Van, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. The president killed it for the Democratic Party in a good way. He killed it for himself in a bad way. He was yelling. He was basically presenting a medley of his greatest hits, which weren't. He seemed like he was forcing his words out of him, that he was definitely reading a teleprompter, that he didn't necessarily like what he was reading. In fact, it looked like he was eating chow or something like that. It was a total failure. It was the worst speech I've ever seen President Trump give, and I've seen a number of them. So, is this going to be a win for the Democratic Party, my party, next election season? Yeah. They're going to be wins all throughout the nation in places where you would think that the Republicans would score well. A lot of people are very upset with how President Trump insulted Rob Reiner after his passing. That's talk everywhere, regardless of party, because Rob Reiner is regarded as a national cultural treasure. And you don't insult a national cultural treasure the way President Trump did. It's still burning in my brain, I'm sure yours as well. So, in short, Van called it. He was absolutely correct in his read about it. And the question is, what is Trump trying to do to the Republican Party? Because what he is doing can't even be said to be Republican, but it can definitely be said to be destructive of how America works. There are a number of people who have theories about it. I have my own. I'm sure you have yours. But to focus back on the speech for the moment as I close, it was something where it was like he was stumbling over words at points, where he was trying to really get through the speech just to get out of it, where someone else wrote it and then said, you know what, you need to read this because your poll numbers are awful. And note that it was done right after the tragedies of this weekend. That's not by accident, folks. Okay? So, my thought to answer your questions that you've texted me about is the speech is an absolute failure by President Trump. It's great for our Democratic Party, but we do have to seize the day. And someone on CNN did point out that the president is scoring a victory on marijuana. Now, to the extent that I have had this contention that some of the society has basically checked out and decided to, get high, that could be an issue. But will it cause Republicans to get elected because it came from Trump? My answer to your question is no. It will make Trump get a thumbs up for that issue singularly, but he has done so many bad things that he can't overcome those actions by freeing up the availability of marijuana. So there it is, folks. Yes, and I have to say, Van, thanks a lot. And I hope you enjoy this one, unlike the last one that you texted me about. Subscribe to Zenny62 on YouTube and bookmark ZennyReport.com. Thanks.